Somebody one-on-one, anybody one-on-one. I believe, honestly, that I can talk. I believe that I have the ability to reason, I have logic, I have compassion, I have understanding. If we talk, there's no problem. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what happens. People use what they heard in the media, and that's how they come at me. And then, you know, we got to push.
Go. Let's see. I'm guessing this needs to be a little bit quieter. It's probably very hard for me to interpret these things. What else? Cool. So bear with me. I'm getting a few more downloaded here. Let's go through this process and I'll show you as I download. So I think we have half. Dreamwalker. I have no idea what to do with this one. I assume zip is what I need. If not, it's going to be a learning experience, a teachable moment. We haven't done elusive yet either. There's Dreamwalker. Elusive is downloading. Got that one. Town of Frost I don't have yet, and Stranger I don't have yet. There's some like crazy explanation for Stranger. I recall seeing this, but we'll figure it out. Respect though, all these are like 30 megabyte downloads. I was expecting some like Unreal Engine madness here. this music is calming. So we should have 5. Uh-oh, not 5, 10. Which one haven't I gotten yet? Stranger. Oh, maybe I don't have Winter's Quest yet. This is the big one, 282 megabytes. Gonna take a little while. Meanwhile, we'll listen to some music. Bitch.tv. Man, everybody be streaming tonight. Alright then, let's get Bardine off of here. April, no sample beat collection. Can. The can is, I'm guessing codename Gorilla. The City at Night. Okay, so listen to City at Night. Mono, Bleeding Edge. Let's actually get this over. We have all of them. Cool. So we're gonna do City at Night first. The City at Night. A night drive turns into a story of reflection. Just how far are we willing to go to leave it all behind? Pretty far, I think. All right, so we got some stuff. I'm accepting some good sound effects for this one. Let's find out. All right. Look at that cool pixelated area down there. The sound is nice though. Okay, we've got a really nice thing going on over here. If I look at this, I'm expecting kind of like cool. Yo, what's up, Curtis? I'm expecting kind of like cool, relaxing alien walking sim. And then this stuff in the front, like we've got like not exactly human form here, but I think it's supposed to be human. Interesting. Would have loved to see some interesting light work here, maybe some particle effects to kind of bring it all together. Sweet. Dialing noise. I should control this car. That feels really good. Ringing phone. Voicemail. 6 new messages. Good grief. Hey, Isaiah, it's Anna. Don't forget you need to pick up Sarah today. Oh, this text, this blue text with a gray background. She's looking forward to seeing you. If you can't make it, just let Trevor and I know. Cool. Whoop. Alright, well. Guess I only get that one. Sweet. Don't forget, pick up Sarah. Oh my god, this text. Okay, so I gotta pick up Sarah at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I'm gonna go sleep. The rotation game. Wow. Oh, hey, nice. That's pretty legit. Look at that. Oh, wow. Cool. I found a family photo. Apparently I found what I was looking for. Now I'm distinctly stuck. Well, let's try that one again. Notably not moving. Okay, so yeah. Guess I have to do this first. kind of afraid that that's gonna break my game. Report card, not a great one. Okay, so she's not doing well in school. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what I guessed. This music. How do we have this like beautiful and this graphic here? Like, what? Sweet. I got my stuff. I can get out of here now. This beautiful opening thing. And these graphics. Oh, I can just walk out. I'm done. I'm out. Game over. That door is also locked. Time to go. End demo. Sweet. We drove, we listened to some things, and we left. That one was called City at Night. City at Night. Where do you find these games again? My students made them. So this was, you made Keyboard Quest last semester, right? These are the same from this semester. Let's go down to Codename Gorilla. This one's an interesting looking one. Some credits. Rad. And we can play. Let's do this. Is there sound? Very quiet. Okay, so if I understand, like some very, what is with this red thing behind me? If I understand this game, I forget how I interact. Okay, so E to interact. Oh, I can hide behind lamps. I'm sick and I need to hide from people because people don't like me. So we're gonna go, if I can hit behind that lamp before, I guess I can't hide here. These seem to be the guys that come after you. So I think if I just kinda walk along down here, nobody's gonna find me. Oh, I think that guy's gonna find me. I'm screwed. Fuck. Fuck. Oh, he doesn't know how to find me. Okay. It's kind of like if Frogger was a human. Am I low on stamina? Do I need to hide? Oh, I can regain stamina. I don't know what stamina does for me. Oh, I move faster with stamina. Okay. That seems important. Conceivably. Oh, hell yes. Can I hide in this fruit stand? Yes. I can also move around in the fruit stand and lose stamina. Alright. I think we made it. There doesn't seem to be anyone else here. Oh, there's just one person. I wish I could jump. I know I'm sick. Alright, we did. We made it to the end. Let's go get found this time. Let's just go talk to some friends. What's up, friend? They don't care. Hey, friend, what's up? You also don't care. Maybe these people over here care. Maybe the whole thing was a ruse and I was hiding when I don't need to hide. Oh, standing still also lets me recover. Okay, so... Man, some sounds would have been awesome there. Some sort of feedback. Cool. Okay, so that one's code name Gorilla. In hiding. It's the hiding. The not seeing. The not being around a ning. Deckening game. Such a great name. I love the deckening name. 1 week from the deckening. The deckening that Alright, so we got, this is like easy mode Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Tactics. Bleh. Bleh. Now, I remember how this works. And that I killed Jack. So Jack's dead. Let's go kill Pumpkin now. I do like that fruit is misspelled over here. Fruit. Fry it. Fry it. And that's it. I've gone too far. I've asked too much of this game after killing the whatever. Help. Sweet. Oh, F4. That one is 1 week from the deckening. Dreamwalker. I have no idea what to play in this game. So we've got a bunch of assets. This is a Godot game. I don't know what to click to play a Godot game. We'll go back to Dreamwalker and download the other assets for that one. Elusive. Version 0.1. Oh, I died. Okay. My health is at 0.3. Again, sound or audio would have been rad for that. Some sort of feedback so I knew what the hell's going on. Sweet! I love this. I don't like that I change colors as I move, but I love this animation. They kind of dance too. Kind of like squash and stretch. It's a good feeling. The motion here is really good feeling too. We have a little bit of balance in that walk cycle. The walk cycle is a little bit hard to read, but a good 2D animation class will fix that up. Some Z sorting issues up here. I love this foreground and background so much. This is a problem, of course. Yeah, so good. Okay, so let's go get this. I see you. The sound, but we don't have any animation. I have no clue what's happening. Shit, okay. Am I dying? Is it dying? We need some, like... Oh, I melted. I can still can attack, but I melted. I love it. Can I move? I can't move. Menu. That's really slick. Oh, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually work. Oh shit, I can like shoot? What? Okay, we're gonna try this one more time. I didn't know you could shoot. How did I shoot? Okay. Oh, it's all, okay. How do I jump? Oh my god. These keys are all over the place. Okay, so I can shoot the other mouse, okay. Now I got this, right? Like, I'm unstoppable now. Yeah, look at that. Hitting things with swords? That don't mean nothing. One little blip, though. Oh, this is cool. I want more, though. Give me more. Fuck. Shit. Oh, okay. So there is more. It just doesn't read well. So there's that over there. Cool. I knew there was more. Oh, this awful thing. No, go away. I see you. We need some finesse there too, definitely. Like, one of the things that feels good is if you do a back jump and you shoot forward. Maybe I'm just not doing it well. All this sparkles. They don't do anything. Damn, okay. That was exciting. Oh shit, fuck. Oh my god, I really wish I knew my health, okay. Yes. Yes. Sound. This feels good. I like these little thingies. It's a little bit hard to tell what I'm on. The physics is a bit weird, but it's the way Unity is. I'd love for there to be something up here. I got these sparse ability, but I don't collect them. Ugh! Why don't I do anything with them? It's angry. So I came up this way. It looked like there might have been something back this way too. This might be the end of the demo. Oh, maybe not. Okay. There's a lot of land going on here. That's nice. Oh. Let's see if I can find some more sparkles and I'll try to sort them. You're right. This is it. Found it. The end of all things. Okay, let's go try to sort some sparkles and see what happens. Zoom. 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 Alright, we're gonna sort these sparkles. I see you. Go away. Go away, go away, go away. Okay, yeah, that did nothing. All these animations are wonderful. I just wish there were more. I wish there was more detail here, right? We just got a lot of blank. It's very frustrating to read. And feedback on like what's happening is always good. Like, I'm taking damage right now, but I cannot tell. My body! Get me out of here. Cool. Poor sword sparkles. Awesome. So that one was called Elusive. I love that animation. Raft Rider. Listen to that music. Alright, Raft Rider. I think I know how to play. I'm not certain. Let's find out. Yes. Oh shit. Oh damn, that like speed up on the things. It makes it kind of hard. We finally have some assets here. Oh, if that TNT does not explode when I hit it, I'm gonna be so pissed. Where'd that TNT go? Yes! Oh my god, look at that boost! So good. I needed to be like a force applied though, like when you're moving back and forth, it's like boom, like you actually get kicked over. Yes, get the TNT. Oh, it doesn't explode. That would have been fucking awesome. This is music. Does this game end? I know there's an end to this game. I saw a high score. There's like a whale or something, right? I forget. Yes, get the TNT. Hell yeah. Oh, there's health. So if I take... God, that UI is so far. It needs to be like front and center and much larger. It needs some UI stuff around it to really help it read. I can just fly off the edge. See you later! There we go, okay. I kinda like this music. Game over. Hell yeah, look at that! We got money? A little money there. Nice. Sweet. Alright, new game, new goal. How quickly can we end the game? Yes. This is like a screensaver. Oh my god, it's chugging. It's really hurting my eyes too. Oh. Actually, now that I've noticed, it's just getting worse for me. Okay, I'm gonna look away and try to lose. Oh, this is hard. It's already hard to lose to begin with. We need to have a discussion about object pooling, clearly. What's my health at? Oh no, TT, come back. Oh, this is an important one. Oh, it's because I restarted. It was running smoothly before. I'm willing to bet. I'll try that restart one more time after I lose. Ooh, we can actually restart it again and see if it chugs even more. Next round. It's hard to tell. Let's find out. So we're gonna relaunch this and see if it's chugging. Yeah, the fact that it still makes it like noise when you get something that helps you, not great, right? It's very hard to tell what's happening in this game because of the... No, it's still chugging too. Cool. And they do have a different effect that plays, I recall that, so that's a good thing. Alright. Raft Raider. Lusa. Stranger. Town of Frost. Let's do Town of Frost. I need something that's less motion for a second. Town of Frost. Town of Frost wants access to my network for some reason that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I think this is, they got a demo up and running. Sweet. So I click on you, I click on, how do I make you? Okay. Yes. Eat. Make more frost. And I'm fairly certain this is the entire game. Cool. I have a lot of rock. I don't have a lot of wood. Go get me wood. No, go there. Go. Yeah, there we go. What the fuck is that? Go get that. It just turns into a barrel for some reason. Why does it turn into a barrel? Why are these numbers so blurry? What? Okay, cool. It's Town of Frost. I know all of my info is emailed everything away from me. Winter's Quest. This one looked fun if I recall. Run that sucker. What's that, Winter? Sweet. The noise. Oh, that's an awful noise. Good grief, that actually really hurts to listen to. So again, we've got walk. We have a little bit of a bounce. We really need a lot more motion in there. And if we look at this walk cycle, she's actually skipping, not doing a full walk because her back leg never moves forward. Cool. Same thing with the jump. This is actually something we get in jumps a lot. All these games are from my intermediate game design class, and I'm being very cruel to them in that, like, we had several weeks of them working, and I don't like directly instruct on how to make a platformer. I just instruct on how to make a game, and they can choose to produce what they want. But like a lot of jump cycles doesn't get enough motion in here. And so when we're looking at her, right, so thinking about animation, we've got like this, we don't really have an anticipation, so we would need a down for your anticipation. And then kind of like even maybe like a stretch extended frame for her up, and playing with the hair, and nobody jumps like straight up, right? We're like that, anything like that. That would make this game feel so much better. If we looked at what we had from Elusive, right, the fall actually had animation too. We had that like little jitter that was beautiful also. Things that could be worked into this game. I think, yeah, okay, it's like I think that we have two different types of attacks too. Interesting, okay. Oh, this is gonna be good to figure out. Okay, cool. So we have this kind of very basic foreground here. The background reads really interesting. The foreground reads kind of, hey, I do love that I have health though. The foreground reads kind of boring. It's very flat, it's just kind of like blipped out. Getting higher res assets in there would be nice. No sound effects for jumps, no music. Can I do anything with this? It's just a thing. No? Okay. Cool. I got something. Oh shit. Oh, fuck. I'm out of snowballs. This sucks. I will destroy you. Oh, well, that's not gonna happen. Sweet. Whoa. Eat snowball. There we go. Oh, so I have like a snowball meter over there, I think. That I didn't see before. That's a super legit addition. Oh, what is this? What? Why didn't I see that before? That's cool. Does that hurt me? Oh, whatever. It's an interesting addition. I actually kind of really like that. Alright, I remember you now. Hey, what? Good grief. I can't tell if my snowballs are hitting it or not, or if I'm just getting hit by its awful honeycombs. It's making it very, very hard to plan out my attacks on this thing. And the journey home is interesting too. Pow. Haha! There, we just got a whale on it. I'm out of snowballs now though, so this is the end for me. Apparently there's also things I can fall into. Oh my god, feedback, please. Alright, and make that jump. Oh shit, I'm done for. I have to... I think this is about as far as I'm gonna get in this game. Because this is starting to get frustrating. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So apples replenish health. Does this replenish my snow meter? No, that just is the most frustrating thing in existence. Okay. I feel like you're playing the antagonist. Yeah, there's some story that goes with this if I recall. If I just... There we go. Oh my god, there's more of you! No, I refuse. Shit, how am I supposed to... Whatever. Oh, it's one of you. These things are cool. Well, this... I do wish that there was some more feedback there. It's mostly just frustrating to have to deal with. How do I get... No. I know your ways now. Ugh, pine cone. Cone monster. Ah. Does this mean I can jump high? Oh, hell yes. Look at that. That's totally rad. I assume I'm supposed to double jump here. It's very hard to read though. Oh no, that was the end of the world? I'm gonna assume that's the end of the game. Cool, that one's called Winter's Quest. It had a lot of noises in it. Let's go read Winter's Quests. Winters. There's some sort of thing. Everyone needs time to rest and clean the land. That was the fairy Winter's job until an ignorant king destroyed her wings. Now she must find a way to restore them before the world dies from exhaustion. So I guess you're like supposed to show up and kill the plants, right? Because it's winter time. But the plants are mad at you. I guess like if you had wings, you would destroy the world. Yeah, like from afar, this looks awesome, but from close, we need much more detail there. Winter's Quest. Stranger. 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 I don't know how far I'm gonna get in this one. There's some sort of like rules I have to follow for this. Shit, that's awesome though. Like beautiful aesthetic. It needs some sort of like low-key drone behind it all though. Oh my god. That's awesome. Hell yes. Look at that. Son of a bitch, that's awesome. Okay. I'm gonna like bounce over this too. Interesting. Oh, it's probably just the basic walk. Man, I smell like French fries and that smells amazing. Put on the mask. Aesthetic. Hell yeah. I read all your papers. You saw the comments that I left on your papers. You can press R to begin recording a stranger. Alright. Shit. Oh, good. Cool. Am I recording? I can record here. I actually don't know how to stop recording. I assume I press R again. Escape. Enter. Click. Backspace. Shit. Tilde. Walk. Let's go look at the website real fast. See if the controls are on there. No, the way this game works is you record... Oh, let's just restart it. You record clones of yourself, essentially. And there's some sort of button I need to press to unrecord. Which probably just needs to... Whoa. That was pretty cool, actually. Yeah, it probably just needs to be communicated there in some way. Oh my god, this is so good. I love that. Alright. Stranger. Put on the mask. Put on mask. Okay, so... Wait, this time it didn't tell me the controls. Oh, there we go. The green, you can press R to record. I can delete by pressing backspace. You can play your stranger by either pressing the numbers on the number line. Okay. So, R. Is this the bug he was talking about? Whoa, blocks. Can I pick blocks up? I can pick up boxes by using left mouse click. Can I though? Neither my mouse works. Okay, so start game, get the mouse, placement be level 1. I can't even figure that one out. Let's try one more time here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Alright, mask. Put on mask. So we can make clones of ourselves. Okay. The green circles are chord zone. You can press R1 in that zone to begin recording a stranger. You can also delete strangers by pressing backspace. You can play your stranger from anywhere by pressing numbers in the number line. Strangers are recorded in order, so keep that in mind when you get more. Okay. So I can record in there. But I think one of the problems was I couldn't pick up. No. Just trap myself again. You can pick up boxes using left mouse click and then throw them using right mouse click. I picked one that, okay, so, no, left. Sometimes. I just want to get up. I just want to make a stranger friend. Hold click. Yeah, hold click does not seem to be working much. Wait, oh, no. And now I'm recording myself? Oh, I must have pressed R at some point. No. No. Okay, no. This music is rad. Oh, no, okay. What? I can't tell if it's just them running into them or if I'm actually picking them up. Oh, I give up on this. Okay. Cool. Play through and beat level 1. The rest of this game looks really cool. I've seen some awesome stuff in this, but I'm gonna have to sit down afterwards and see if I can't figure out my way through it. The Stranger Decading. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. We didn't get one of them to work yet, so let's see if we can find that other download to work. Winter's Quest, Dreamwalker. Right? Yeah, I believe so. Because Dreamwalker also has this thing called .exe and this other thing called a .pack. I don't know which one of these I need. Perhaps they do. But let's get those pulled over. So there's a whatever that is, .exe. Don't think this is everything I need. More info, run. Oh hey, look at that. Dreamwalker, 0 animation. Really confusing parallax back there. Oh man, that's kind of gross parallax. Okay. The parallax the land just kind of stops there. Rad. Can I attack? Nope. Cool. Better controls. Do anything. Awesome. And jump. Let's see where we can get in this world. Let's go to the summit. This is annoying. Ugh. I guess I need to be further back. Nope. I can just ride you up here. No. Mm-mm. 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 Sweet. There we go. Okay. Launch, body, back jump. The summit. I love this dream that we've made. Oh no. Okay. Alright, so we've got a platform over there. It's not communicated well anyway. Very difficult to make to. And oh, there's some stuff over here too. Still not entirely certain where I'm going or why. It is a beautiful sounding dream though. Ooh. Got some of that difficult platforming and coming in. Found it, the end of the dream. Sweet. Where's this go? Can I just fall forever now? Oh, this is like easy mode over here. These enemies are not great. They're kind of annoying. Get in my way. Get out of my way. Sweet. That's amazing. I didn't know that an EXE would have all the acid inside of it. And last one. Da-da-da. Brittle. Brattle. And there's this like orb that follows us around. Oh, it's for the controller, right? Nice. Is there sound? No. Again, a nice little drone would be perfect here. It's beautiful. I love this effect though. It's a very good eye catcher. What the heck? Is that roadkill? No. Where's the drawing of the factory? No. Spend that drawing like dolls. All the Vince drawings. It's kind of creepy. Someone showed up. We need to get moving while the sun's still shining. To find the tall trees, we need a better look at the area. Alright. City at night. Wah 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 wah. Oh, look at that camera work. I know how to play this game. Look out, I see a hive. Am I gonna climb this cliff? My climbing gear. Ticklish. I see a loose branch in the tree. Maybe you can pull it down and carry me on it. I'll try. Pow. Zop. Alright, let's go. Flight. I love that flight noise. Carry me to the promised land. Let's do this. Oh, it's going faster than I can go. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Yes. I love that noise. Nice. Scared him off. Oh shit. Well, there we go. Ow. Oh, I fell down, so I need to fly upwards now, I think. Okay. Let's go. Power of flight. There we go. I'm gonna make my friend do all the work for me. Let's see how high up we can get. Yes! Spoiler! Boom! I love that walk animation. It's so good. Cool. Ugh. I may have played this one before, so I know a little bit more what I'm doing in this one. But I'm gonna make it to the end. Maybe, if I don't get myself stuck. Sweet. I think I need to go this way. There's like these bee things that follow you, but you can kind of... No! Wait, okay. This happened to me last time too. I got greedy. Oh, fuck. Getting over it with brittle body. There we go, okay. Should be good now. No, isn't this a great game? Oh, no, son of a... Okay, there we go. Yes. Bees! I'm glad that the bees don't hurt me because I would not be able to beat this game otherwise. Oh, I've never double dipped before. Let's go. We've made it to the promised land. Woo! Daylight. Daylight. Lost in thought. This is the end of the demo. So this is... I don't know if it keeps going or if this just sticks here. I have a headache, so like it looks like everything's moving to me nowadays. Rad. So thanks for stopping by for the first piece of the puzzle, which was me streaming these games. I'm actually using this as partial feedback from my students, so they're going to be able to see like your chat and also all the things I said while I played the games. We'll finish up the grading tomorrow. I'll probably also push this out to YouTube or something like that. The second half of yeah, like thanks for stopping by. Nice work, all game test. Thank you. They will appreciate the compliment. I love this graphic here. It's so wonderful. That's up to me to decide. The second half of this will be much more boring. Your amazing game is on here. You're welcome, Z Laughing Dragon. You made your game and now you have to lie with it. The second half of it is a presentation I need to do, or decided to do, so if y'all want to stick around, that's fine. I'm going to be talking about some of my own research and some of my own work that I've been doing this final bit of the semester. It's this thing called Feedback Machine, and I'll talk a little bit about the end, but I know that I'm going to get a little bit 3 heavy at the start, so y'all might be like fascinated or bored, one way or the other. I worked way too hard on this presentation, so there's no way I'm not going to give it. Let's get chat up too. There we go. Cat face and everything. Cool. So I want to talk about this thing I've been designing. I don't know if I'm going to go any further with it, like most things, right? It's just a thought process. Sweet, give me a grade. Thankfully you're not maybe you are the person to give me a grade, I don't know. I don't even remember his name right now. I'm just so out of it right now. I'm calling it the polyphonic feedback machine, and that will be fun because I had to kind of like define some of these terms and talk about what I'm thinking about there, and also talk you through some of my design process. Man, I really wish that I was like be able to stand up here instead of sit down. And I want to start you sort of at the start of this and get you to why I'm making this thing that I'm making, and the reason why I'm approaching it the way I am. Hi. I did a poll today also. I was like, if I'm going to include an image of a leader of men, should I include Aragorn, oh my god, Theoden, Faramir, or Éowyn? And Éowyn and Aragorn were actually neck and neck for a little while. Aragorn just barely pulled ahead in the end, but just barely. Congrats, Z Laughing Dragon. You made your game. It's called the Gorilla Game. Shrug. Cool. Initial design question I had for this, which was really a strange design question, was I was thinking about game development, and I was really interested in this concept I'm going to delve into later called Ubuntu of I am because you are, I am because we are. And I was like considering this for a while, and so I posed this like weird question of like, what if we use game development not as a way to produce games, but as a way to learn to like understand other people and serve other people and support other people? This is something that we know that makers like the makers and designers oftentimes are doing anyway, but what if we thought about it as that is the process and the goal and the outcome, instead of the game itself being the process and goal of the outcome? So this is my initial design question. It's not going to be the design question that wound up taking me in the end. I wound up doing something completely different instead. And so this is something that I thought about for a while. Like, one of the traits that makers really highlight is this social situatedness of their practice, right? There's kind of two ways in which maker educations and makers in general think about their work. The first is that they talk about supporting their maker community, right? Their knowledge and emotional support. This is something we see all over the place in game development communities, right? We share knowledge with one another. We provide tips. We provide critique and feedback. What else do we do? Good grief. I need more coffee. We support their knowledge and feedback, and we also do things like throw events for one another, get together with one another, and create that community that we're seeking out. But there's another piece of this puzzle too that makers do, and that's that they support their surrounding community. They serve and they provide insight for them. So the things that they're making oftentimes are being made for other people beyond their community. This is the same thing for game development. Yeah, you're making a game that's a personal expression, but for many people, they're actually serving some other game community. The people who don't make games, but to play games. You might be a middle-aged man making a game for young girls. And so you're serving a different community, and that's part of the skill set that you're developing as a maker and as a game maker also. It's like learning to do those things. And so someone in my maker education class said this word and explained what Ubuntu actually means, and it blows me away. I think I misread it or I misinterpreted it as I am because you are, but I guess the other meaning can also be interpreted as I am because we are. And so it's interesting to me to think of it this way of like, I can't do my design work or I can't make my thing unless you're there, unless we're having that conversation, unless we're like engaging with one another. So one of the ways I start thinking about this is like they lead by making things. The stuff that they create is how they find possibilities and how they engage in conversations with one another, which is where we're going to get to in a little bit of why I'm making this kind of like conversation prompting machine and where I'm thinking about it right now. So like I said, I can't design, especially if it's an interactive experience like a game. I can't design if you're not there, right? If you're not meeting me and having a conversation with me and giving the feedback, it's very hard to design because I'm not having that conversation with this. And it really is like we're all in this together. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk to one another. Let's see ways in which we can find some common ground. So to get to that Ubuntu design, some ways that I approach it, the ways that I think about approaching it is, number one, by supporting multiple voices, a thing called polyphonia that we'll get to in a second. Also, letting those voices be playful. I'm a huge proponent of this, being a game development professor. I'm a proponent of it because it allows them to take on personalities and approaches to things that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So what do I mean by polyphonia? What do I mean by it's all discourse? It means that everything that we say, in many ways, is a reaction to the last things that are said. So some of you might be in chat, you might be saying some things. Cool. Those words that you're saying are in response to words that I said, which means that there's context immediately imbued in them. So they have those contextual meanings, and they might have multiple contextual meanings. In fact, you guys might take some of my words, you might take the word polyphonia and start playing with it when you're talking in chat, right? And so now you've appropriated it, you've understood sort of what I meant by polyphonia, and you're using it in your own context. And this can be hard, right? Because that means that like polyphonia might mean one thing in the dictionary, one thing as I'm using it, and another thing when you're using it inside of chat. And those all actually have different things, and the way that you're using it is actually influenced by the way that you think about the world and have approached this particular piece of the world also. So like untangling the meaning of a word or expression can be incredibly difficult. But the opposite is what I'm really trying to get at here, is that all the things that we say are tangled, and they're tangled in two different ways. They're tangled in terms of discourse, and they're tangled in terms of the word can't be without the other word existing. So why am I really talking about this? Well, because to serve others as a maker, I need to understand them, right? That's my goal. There's many different methods of understanding them, right? Game developers do this all the time. We watch, we observe, we think about. But conversation is another way of getting to that understanding. I can talk with you, and I can try to understand your words as you're trying to understand my words. Now, as I was going through this design process and figuring out, like, how can I support this conversation, a key factor, or key design element that came up was this idea of a third space. This is a space that encourages dialogue between different groups. What I love about this is that space allows new words to come up, new insights or new identities. New things come out, and they're also a place where people can be playful with those ideas or concepts. They're just super fun to engage with, right? Super enjoyable to engage with. They're kind of loose, they're open, they're willing to let people do things they wouldn't have done otherwise. So I'm going to return to this concept of Ubuntu and like what I've been struggling with through this design process, which we'll see a number of slides as I break this down. So I've been struggling with, like, the designer is, because they can have that conversation, right? Because they can engage with someone else. And the design itself is coming from a conversation with the people and the materials that they're working with. Which means that to have that conversation, the people need a way of talking back. Coming back to game design, it's specifically experience design, right? So playtesting is a critical piece of it. You can't get feedback unless you're seeing your players play your game. I'm terrible at this, extremely bad at this. And so during the playtesting phase, the player takes this designer's words. I put this in air quotes because what I mean by words is that designed expression they had. I just went through this on stream, in fact. I played all of your expressions. And I took those words and I turned them into my own through gameplay, right? I actually appropriated them and redid them, right? Like, I did not play the game as it might have been intended. I might have played it very differently. I created new context for it. I created new meaning for this game that didn't exist before. And so, back to my initial struggle, I was interested in, can we make game designers who design for people who weren't normally players, right? Like, how do they engage and understand people they don't typically understand? Because this could be a fascinating design space to me, a very interesting space to work with. But the problem is that these people are very unlikely to actually play your game, right? They're not game players. I will have that. I'm happy to have that conversation with you afterwards, Paul. I would say that it is appropriation in some ways. If I give you a stick or a fork and you decide not to use it as whatever, but to use it as some other thing, right? You're appropriating it and using it differently. So designed artifact, you take it, you use it in your own way. But I'm also not approaching this from a sociocultural appropriation or whatever, activity theory appropriation. This is specifically dialogic appropriation, which is probably a little bit different. Though I feel like it's weird. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. And this is like an argument that I would have to make entirely. So I'm making the argument like, hey, I've designed this expression and you're taking it and using it in your own way. I see streamers doing this all the time. Cool. So people are very unlikely to engage. So my refined question, and again, this is not a great question in general. I may have been going to conferences and doing other stuff also. But how can I design experience and get feedback on games from groups that don't typically provide that feedback on games? It's fascinating to me. Of like, cool. And then I started to revolve this around streaming in particular, mostly because I have a experience in streaming. And also, how can I let them use their own words in a way that makes sense when providing a response? So when the people are talking, right, like they're using other people's words, appropriating those words in a way. So I want to talk about this feedback machine that I've been working on, and just like the direction that it's been going and the thoughts I've been having as I've been working on it, and some of the embarrassing steps I took while making it. Conversation reminds me of how a movie maker has an intended meaning, but once it gets to the audience, they have their own interpretation. Yeah, and that's part of Dialogia, right? Is I I produce an output, the other person interprets it differently and then can use it differently because of that, because they're coming at it from a very different standpoint. They understand it differently, and so I just watched Avengers today, right? Like the way that I understood, I guess I can't despread. The way I understood the fact that Iron Man flew around might be completely differently understood by different people. Because they've had different life experiences and help them interpret that differently. So when they use the word flight, it actually has different connotations than whatever. So I'm going to talk about the process I went through here. My weekly work, narrowing in on streaming in particular, using sketching and getting feedback, digital mockup and more feedback. I made this really embarrassing performative bot and then made a swap from there. I returned to sketching. I focused on this concept of polyphonia, and I did a second iteration of the feedback machine. Settling on streaming. So, giving my background in streaming, I thought it'd be interesting, and there's going to be some real problems with this. That, well, what if we thought about streamers as providing the mechanism to get the games out to people? Because I suspect it would be easier to get someone to watch someone perform a game than it would be to get someone to download a game, develop their skills as game players, and then play the game. There's a lot of loaded stuff inside of there that take a lot of time to think about, but I'll just add that space right then. Like, okay, people are more willing to watch a video, I suspect, than play a game, especially if they don't have that language, right? There are people that don't understand the WAs and D moves. They don't understand how to even walk backwards while looking behind themselves. So there's this interesting thought that, oh my gosh, what is his name? It's over at NYU. He kind of makes a postmodernist thing of the game itself. We just need to know that the game is there, that we can talk about the game, and the experience of the game is really where it's all at. And that's where I started approaching this of maybe the game doesn't have to be played, it just has to exist. And it has to be known about. And so the streamer itself can be the one that makes it exist and makes it known about. And so the design of this feedback machine, the first week was focused on this sketching and iteration. I've got pictures over here of my sketches. And so I focus on potential feedback during and after streams. I was looking at this as a way of how can I gather feedback from people? And if you see over there on the left, the upper left-hand corner, I've got a star system. I was trying to figure out where I position this on the screen, and I had this weird kind of chart graph thing. In the middle there, I started thinking about what if the stars were shared in the comments, or what if there's some sort of link over there, and what if there was little tags that you could have in there, and I had this kind of overlay stream pop-up interface. And then I did some more stuff over here. I started thinking, and this is a thread that will continue later on. I started thinking about when this would occur, right? When this all would happen. And so I had maybe you get different stars based on if it's live or if it's not live, right? So I played therefore in precisely, yeah. So we have this idea of the game just has to be there, right? There are games I've never played before, but they're still important games in my mind that I need to think about, or it took me a very long time to play them. Celeste is one of them, right? It took me a very long time to play Celeste, but I understood Celeste and I understood its cultural importance, so I could talk to my students about it and pull it up if I needed it. So this after stream experience started becoming really important because, well, there's only 2 people watching this video, but I can assure you that if I were to upload this later on, it'd probably get 10 or 20. So the difference in terms of people who turn in live compared to people who turn in afterwards is huge. And so I started playing with well, what if we get feedback after the stream? Can we still work in that area? And that was week 1. I thought about this and I did a little bit of thinking on this, and then I did a little bit of reflection on this, but I think this was the week I was at ICOMP and I barely had any time. C'est la vie, right? My students are living the same life I am I have a million things to do. And so then I moved on to digital mockups. And so my digital mockups were meant to be a little bit more high investment, right? A little bit more interesting to deal with. And I have a couple of examples of the digital mockups I have. I actually have 3 different versions of this. You'll see here that I was beginning to think of stream as performative aspect, and how could we use this as a way to perform different things. So here's one where while you're playing, it gives you what would we say this? A role to play as you're playing this particular game. And then I also play with the idea of signs of what if I abstract this entirely, so here is just a pan with an egg in it. It does not look like an egg in this at all. It's a pan with an egg in it. I don't know exactly what that means, right? And it might be an interesting prompt for you to work with. And those are during streaming, right? So I thought of like, okay, what will it look like during streaming? And then I also thought about some ways in which, how could we make these prompts show up before streaming? So I had this sort of timeline-esque way of approaching it that will come back in later slides. A more standard one of just every 7.5 minutes, give me a prompt that I have to deal with. And then this one, which allows you to kind of like click on different things and say like, these are the ones that are more active for this particular stream that will pop up. Yep, and then one final one of like, how can I drag this over to B1? So you've got like a couple of things over here you can drag, drop back and forth. And then I also had a final one of like, how do I gather information from my users of things they might want me to be thinking about while I'm streaming. And so like here, it's just cool as I'm playing through it, here's some like stories that I've told you or that we know together. I've always been playing with this idea of the abstract, the emoticon, and the reason why is, well, let me go ahead and just do it for you all. Is that I find these things fascinating, the things that show up inside of Twitch's chat of, what are they called? I'm just gonna call them emoticons. But those things all have stories. So my Meandering Leaf doesn't have much of a story, but for instance, I have the Super Soul Brothers, and there's a story behind that emoticon. There's a story behind Ohio, right? Like each of those have stories that are associated with them. And so they are signs and they are symbols and they're used by other people. And sometimes they're used in ways that like are different, right? So like I use Ohio in one way, but other people might use it in a completely different way because they know more context behind that particular emote. So I've always been playing with that as an idea. And so I made these mock-ups and I actually then went to a couple of streamers and I just did some quick interviews, right? I put these in front of them, I walked them through like how it would be used, I described the scenario, and this is the general feedback I got from them. Number one, they preferred prompts in chat because they were already watching their chat anyway. They also like chat prompts because they didn't obscure their gameplay. They were really not sure about how to gather and queue prompts, and I think it was because they did a really bad job of explaining what this is. Because again, there's a lot of, even as Paul just points out, maybe I'm using appropriation wrong. I hope not, right? There's a different type of appropriation. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But maybe I'm using it wrong, right? So like maybe I'm not getting the words, I'm not getting it down to human English as opposed to like academese. Cool, so I took that idea, right, and I wanted to get some more data on this. And so what I did was I made a performative bot. The VOD is still alive. If you guys want to go and watch me play this, hell yes, you can appropriate it means something else. You can stab people with it. I made a performative bot. The VOD is still alive. You can go watch it. It's the most embarrassing 15 minutes of my life. And I created a bot that was kind of like pre-supplied with a series of prompts, but you could also add prompts. I don't know if that bot's still alive, actually. Let me try. Actually, I forget what the command is. No, okay, so the bot's not live anymore. So I gave it a couple of ones, firefighter, teacher, whatever, student. So there's a couple of roles in there, and then people could also add them by typing !! role, whatever. Didn't get a lot of viewership, right? I'm not getting a lot of viewership on my streams nowadays because I don't have regular viewership, and I just stream whenever the hell I want to. And so every 2 minutes, that bot would randomly pick from that array of roles and say, you're this person now, pretend to be that person. It was awful. It was the worst I've ever done, right? It was terrible. I quickly understood that I was on the wrong track. I realized that like I could have gotten away with this maybe by just doing a paper prototype. But I was interested in creating something digital at the time, and it really wasn't that hard to roll a chatbot. It probably took me an hour and a half to get that chatbot running. And then I had like some live feedback, and I realized like, no, this does not work, especially not when you're live in game. Is the bot kind of like a director, you, the streamer, and the actor? Yeah. So it's kind of like, and now you're a snake salesman, right? And pretend like you're a snake salesman while you're playing the game. You're like, oh, this has not worked, right? This doesn't work for so many reasons. The major one is like, maybe for like other people it's good, but for me, like pulling on, like trying to situate myself and quickly jump between role and role was extremely difficult. And then there was like just a lot of assumptions that I were making that like were not good. They were bad assumptions and they weren't providing insight in any way. Yeah, so I've still got that bot. If you really want that bot, I can give it to you. It's still there, right? It's a piece of this puzzle that I'm I'm documenting and describing this way because I think it's one way in which I can document this stuff. And so it was, oh man, like I sat there after, like, this is not going to work, right? This is not the right direction. I need to go somewhere else. And so it was time to revise. I had to go back to the drawing board. And so I went back and I started thinking about this. And I was really bad about this. I actually was on this computer. I had my tablet plugged in, and I just had Krita open. I was just like sitting there and drawing. And so, so I did a bunch of reading on participatory design. I spent a long time reading on Botkin's theories of polyphonia, dialogism, the carnivalesque. Fascinating stuff. I'm not going to call myself an expert in it at all. I only probably read for like a total of 10 hours, maybe 14. But like I just read it because it was all fascinating stuff to me. And I wish I knew more. I might take some time this summer to do more of that stuff. And so I began to think about how to encourage, not the performance, right? The performance I think is a problem. Performativity is just like, we do that automatically anyway, and you need a lot of like stuff to perform correctly. But instead, like, how do I take someone else's words, interpret it, and like reuse them in my own way? So how do I appropriate what's been given to me and use them effectively? So I began to think about that. Like, how can I give people material to appropriate and use? And I did a lot of sketches on this, actually. I probably sketched for maybe an hour. But my sketches were just, I didn't think I was going anywhere. I didn't think my ideas were going anywhere, and they actually were. And I was being bad and not saving my different sketches. I was just drawing into Krita, deleting, and then drawing my next ideas and deleting again. So I've tried to write quite a few. I actually didn't. I got busy. I was grading today because I'm way behind in grading. But I play with ideas, and I actually have some stuff here. I play with ideas of like using clips of the streamer in response to the streamer's gameplay itself. So I had like these like tiny little clips, and you could drag them onto the video. And then I started playing with like spatially laying out those clips. So like there's just like funny little things that Travis has said, and then you use that clip. A clip is like maybe a 10 second bit of things that I'm saying, and you use that as your own words in response to what's been streamed, right? So you don't provide a comment. Instead, the comment is essentially taking stuff that I've said and regurgitating onto my stream. So I started playing with those ideas, right? That was where my mind space was, and I had like, oh, what if it's a game? And like you put 4 up. So there's like 4 grids, and you can play, and like people can win based on the best one or the most appropriate one for the different things. And so like I kind of narrowed it down to, my clips are like a little bit too engaging, especially when you're already watching video, and I narrowed down to cards. Like, what if there were statements or words or emojis on cards that you could play in response to things in the video? And what I wound up designing inadvertently was something that looks kind of like Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity, right? So you've got like this prompt. The prompt in this case is the video, and then after the prompt is my cards, right? So after the prompt, like you've got these different cards that you can play, and I'll show you a screenshot in a second. And then I also started thinking about like, okay, this is going to be in response to a video itself. So now we've got people who are, they can play their comment at a specific time. And I went back to this idea of like engagement with the video, a timeline-esque kind of engagement. And I remembered SoundCloud and SoundCloud's way of commenting. You can see down here, these are comments. So it's via time there. We can see like you can play your cards or people's comments are there. What if I did that with this? And so I made my first feedback machine. This was made with Firebase, HTML, and JavaScript. I probably spent a couple hours making this particular one. You can see here an example of the full game that's already been played. Here in the middle are cards that you or someone else has played. Down here is your hand. In this case, there's only 1 card left in this hand. You can see I'm still playing with the idea of emoji. I still think there's something there in emoji, but I haven't been getting a good response out of anyone, so clearly my mind is off in the wrong direction there. And then up here is the pause version of the video that I'm playing. Look, it's me streaming. I've been streaming this Rain Drinkers game, which is freaking beautiful, and I love it. So what I did was to test this, after making that, you start with a full hand. The hand is a thing. It's a sketch, rad, cool beans, unlimited soup, solid breadsticks is one of them. There's a couple other cards that you start with. I recorded a video of myself playing 2 different indie games. I did a call on Twitter. People responded. I recorded myself playing both those games for 5 minutes each. And I got 3 people to play this, and I watched them while they were playing it. I took notes on their experience. I briefly interviewed them afterwards. I asked them, like, why did you play that card? How did you feel about that? How did losing your hand make you feel? Why did you choose that particular card? What are cards you might want to see? How did you interpret this particular card? Yeah, those are the major questions I was gathering. Like, that was the information I was getting from them. And so one of the things I started to think about was that, like, it's cool that you can use other people's words, but what if you had a combination of, you can use someone else's words, but you can also make your own cards? And what if you had to construct your hand before playing? And so my next iteration of this, the one that's currently live, was, okay, let's be a little bit more intentional about choosing other people's words. I wanted to let people make their hand and then live with it, essentially. So once the game begins, they're stuck with this, and this is what the UI looks like as you're making it. So you've got some cards you can select. You can make a card by typing in there and then adding a card to your hand. Once you click Start Game, all that left interface goes away, and all that's left is your hand that you've constructed. To test this, I recorded a 1-minute gameplay of my own game, Duelette, and asked for people on Twitter to play it. And then I watched this video afterwards and I interpreted the results. And the things that I'm finding right now is that the attempts at humor are really difficult to disentangle without more context. It's hard to tell if what I'm getting is really good feedback or not. It's a fun game, right? It's giving me interesting feedback, but I'm not sure how to interpret or how to use that stuff yet. But it does look like it's sort of enjoyable. What I haven't done yet, what I'm going to finish up for my final report here, is I'm going to reach out to the people who have played and briefly interview them about the hand construction and playing process. Here's the current feedback machine. Let's see if we can load this up. So let's give it a play, actually. So let's make a card. My card is Panic. I'm currently panicked because Paul may or may not still be watching me. I'm going to pull in Unlimited Soup, Salad, and Breadsticks. And I'm going to get my UI up. So I'm going to pull in Unlimited Soup, Salad, and Breadsticks, and then we're also going to do Godzilla, because chat wants Godzilla. And let's also do football, just because. So here's my hand. These are the things that I can play in response to whatever's streaming here. And it's only a 1-minute stream, so I'll go very quickly. I'm going to put this on so I can hear my awful voice. You can see here are the things that have already been played. Let's let it play for a little bit. Maybe 2 minutes. That was less than 1 minute. Let's do a football there. And that's the Godzilla moment, definitely. Okay, so you can see how this interface works right now. That's the way it is. So that's the current feedback machine. And then also on that feedback machine, I can hover over there and see these. Now in terms of interaction, yes, there's a ton of interaction that needs to be fixed here, right? I don't know what cards are mine. Some of these are hard to overlay or see. There's easy stuff, like there's easy ways of fixing that. That's not the goal of this particular prototype, right? Don't fix up the prototype until you know it's the right prototype. And I don't know if this is the right prototype. I do think it's closer, but who knows? Cool. What do I have to click there? Nothing. Cool. So that's the particular feedback machine. And so like I could come in as a developer now and I could say like, oh, cool. So they feel, it seems like they're pretty cool, pretty chill about this at the start. They think it's like maybe commercial-like, or maybe they just thought this was funny. Football, like kickoff, gotcha, kickoff. Godzilla, interesting, right? Like what does Godzilla mean? Does that mean it's like destructive? And so I'm using others' words in response to this. But I don't know, my issue with this is I think it's interesting to get other people's words, but I'm not certain if it's good to gather that feedback yet. If I do other next steps with this, I definitely want to test with others and see how they interpret it. We're probably not going to. Maybe. Depends on if people think this is interesting. I want to find the fun. You missed the chance to design the card. Oh well. Well, to be fair, more than half those cards are mine. So I want to find the fun. So I think that if I were to keep this up, right, this is a game. I need some sort of game element in there, and probably part of finding the fun is going to make part of the work of finding the fun is also going to make that feedback more actionable, because part of the goal of Cards Against Humanity, right, is like choosing the ones that are like great, And choosing the ones that are great inside of that gameplay might allow things to sort out of like what are the really good, interesting stuff to be engaging with there. I thought about this as I was streaming this, like what if I could play under region? So instead of here at the down here, you actually see the card show up as if it was like played onto a region. So if I want to Godzilla, I could play the football into my face or whatever. I could Godzilla this particular area over there. I thought that was an interesting idea. I think there might be some gameplay elements there that could be interesting to play with. And then of course, it's not hard, but this one's currently hard-coded to one video. Expanding to any video, if other people are interested in it, would take me maybe an hour or two to implement, which would allow it to be more broadly disseminated in the future. Awesome. Since this is a presentation, now is the season of the question. If you all have questions, if not, I think it's getting kind of late. I'll probably be calling this stream soon. Oh, it's only 9:21. Good grief. Oh, that went really fast, actually. Good. What sort of feedback are you looking for as a streamer? None. So that's the interesting thing here, is that the streamer doesn't really get feedback. Or here's the thing: the streamer might get feedback because the people who are playing the card are playing in response to the gameplay, the streamer, and not so much in response to the gameplay. And this is something that I haven't disentangled yet, right? Is that the game and the streamer work together to create an expression. And so what piece of it is response to the streamer's expression, what piece of it is response to the initial expression of the game itself. I think that the sorts of feedback that the streamer is going to get is very much what they see in chat anyway, right? Yes, so participatory design, not much, right? I have a little bit of participatory design here in terms of I worked with a couple of streamers in getting their feedback, but it's not true participatory design in terms of I didn't go out there and design alongside of them. I was doing the participatory design work mostly because I was looking for this to be a participatory design tool and to engage those kinds of spaces, right? To get that kind of like polyphonic feedback. Let's see. The other part here is that I haven't hit up a lot of game developers with this yet either, which would be the other piece of it. And the one major flaw of this that I will really accept and frustrates me is that in all the madness of the end of the semester, the original goal of this still hasn't been validated, which is what happens when I get non-game players to engage with this interface. Does it work or not? If you get inspired by it, let me know. I can share with you the guy that got me started on it years back. He doesn't do exactly, oh my god. He uses Bakhtin's Carnivalesque, and I really can't remember his name right now, even though he is Miguel Sicart. You might know him, but his work is amazing. Like his Play Matters book is amazing. It completely made me change the way I think about games. Follow research related to your advisor. That's really funny. Miguel Sicart. Does he not have a defining Play Matters? So this book was awesome. I actually went back to this book. Dialogia theory is also like super fascinating and relevant for like participatory design work, but it's not so relevant for education, and it starts to get really, really weird when you get education. But we do like, I see it come up every once in a while in terms of like how do we make third spaces, and a third space allows for like this like weird hybrid identities where like, well, yeah, cool, we're learning about science, but you can rap about it, or you can use all your internet lingo, as long as you're appropriating scientific language into it, or responding it to a scientific language. Oh yeah, so my stream is slow as crap. In terms of my connection is terrible, and I'm not a partner streamer, so I'm always like a little bit behind. I don't know if my thing Bob is up right now. So I have a little thing on the main one tells me just how poor my connection is. And I sometimes leave it up because of that. It seems decent-ish, whatever. But yes. So there's a little bit of point of dialogia and education theory also. And I'll probably have to go back to appropriation. Maybe God, what is his name? Danish. Joshua Danish would be mad at me that I misread. I misused appropriation again. He's really good at calling me out on all the ways in which I used activity theory wrong. So are my reviewers. Curse your reviewers for being right, making me think harder about my work. I love Play Matters. It's a small book. A really good book in ways in terms of like how he defines play. Something that I wish I could impart to my students. Yep, so users are going to be designing their own cards. If I were to continue this, that first screen that you see here, the screen here, some of the people in my Maker Education Design Thinking class recommended that like these are kind of like decks, so I could pull in cards from different people's decks. So like there would be a Droideka, and there would be a Paul Jeswicki deck, and there'd be a Darkslayer TV deck, and so from each of those I could like gather other people's words to be using in response to these particular games. I'm not a theorist of that sort, but I was trying to distinguish between appropriation of things versus ideas, as in, so that's legit. As in, it seems different to me to use something in a way other than intended versus appropriating something else's design as my own. But it's very likely other research cliques are using the term differently. For sure, and like in technology, we use appropriation for right things. But then there's the idea of appropriation of ideas, which is more of an education sort of thing. And then I think Bakhtinian, and I had to go back and double check. Like I said, this is where my thinking was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it moved from there. And I think I'm using this as like, you used this sticker in one way, so I'm going to take that idea and play with it, right? So like the concept of yeet that Droideka had earlier on is also like, yeet meant one thing, and now we use yeet as this kind of like, yeah, awesome. Whereas before it was like always chucking something, right? And so there's still this connotation of chucking, but there's also just this connotation of like exuberance that's been added to it. I think. Like I said, that's one that I had to sit down and play with. Or maybe there's a better word than appropriation that I could be using also. Not bricolage. Bricolage is such a beautiful concept though. I like that it's French. And it's just fun to say. Think about how fantasy orcs are used. When you see Green Street Dude as an audience, we already know they're probably bad dudes. I like all the genres have these type of shorthands. Yep. And so like the idea here was like we might have like I don't know, there's a picture of an orc as one of the cards, and so you heard sound. And so you played the orc somewhere, and so now the orc has something, right? Like orcs are known for smashing, so you play it and like what you're trying to communicate with that is like, yeah, like I feel powerful here, I feel hulky, and so now that card begins to take on a connotation, a conversation of like smash, destroy, take damage, and you're playing with the ideas of orc, but you're also using it in this new context, and so I don't know, maybe it's being used in a tank game, and so now orking becomes a thing in the tank. I don't know. That's how I see it. Like it's always just like this. We've thrown this concept out into space, and it's continually evolving, and we'll never be able to catch up with it. And that sucks and is sad, but it's also awesome. Cool. I'm horrified that people are here engaging with my presentation. I thought nobody would be watching on a Wednesday night. Paul, don't you have grading to do? I'm happy to answer any final questions. if not, thank you all so much for coming out. They actually were like super insightful questions. Grading begins tomorrow. Okay. What am I gonna do after the stream? Let's see, what time is it? I have a pretty wicked headache. I actually might just go to sleep. I think it's some combination of the weather, of the fact that I saw Endgame. The fact that I didn't sleep very well last night either. So I have this wicked headache that is getting in the way of my thoughts right now. And yeah, I've already been grading today. Part of today's stream actually was part of my grading. So now I have like my light feedback, and I'll give my more in-depth feedback afterwards. And I probably have all of tomorrow and much of Friday to grade also. Great, thank you all for coming out. It was wonderful. I super appreciate it. In terms of like weird stuff, actually, I'm gonna be doing some more. Sweet, thanks, Droidica. That makes me feel good. In terms of more things, I'm actually considering doing more stuff like this during the summer. On my Twitter account, I'll make announcements about this. I think my book club will be Saturdays or Sundays. My goal is to read a book every 2 weeks or so, and then do some quick PowerPoints on them, and then just talk through them all with you all here, or on science and technology, or whatever category makes sense on Twitch. I have a Google slide spreadsheet on that. Maybe I'll share that on Facebook too, so people can have some input there. There's far more books than I could ever possibly read. Maybe I'll start off with Play Matters, because that book is quick and fun and easy. But rad, I'm glad that it seemed like some of you enjoyed this particular presentation. Awesome. Well, thank you all. I will see some of you later, and maybe see none of you later. Night, everyone.